So unless a drug is recommended by a doctor for medical reasons, just don't do it. At the same time, the facts compel the federal government to recognize that marijuana can be legitimate in terms of medical applications when carefully administered in some cases. This may include the use as a
I love how the
substitute
president
for
just said that.
addictive and potentially lethal opioid painkillers.
Slow or clogged drains? Call the family of Michael and Son today and get a free estimate on any drain clearing.
People feel much better that are living through tremendous pain and problems. 40 states and multiple U.S. territories have already recognized the use of medical marijuana. This reclassification order will make it far easier to conduct marijuana-related medical research, allowing us
True.
to study benefits, potential dangers, and future treatments. It's going to have a tremendously positive impact, I believe. We're also asking Congress to reconsider its classification of hemp-derived CBD to ensure seniors can access CBD products they have found beneficial for pain and other reasons. Some people are literally
Interesting.
dying, and they're dying with tremendous pain, and this can, in many cases, literally stop it. And they have their senses about them, as opposed to
Fascinating.
painkillers, which
It's a
don't allow
descheduled
that,
substance, and so
don't
how
allow
can
it
you
to die with
do it with a
dignity.
descheduled substance? Epidiolex is like Schedule 5. That's going to be interesting.
President of common
We'll do some
sense,
coverage
and
on
that is
that.
exactly what we're doing. This is really something to do with common sense. And it's something having to do with the fact that so many people that I respect ask me to, people that are having problems, big problems, they are having big problems with illness, with cancer in particular. I now want to ask Dr. Ross to say a few words, followed by Dr. Braun, Dr. Casseret, Dan Wiley, and Dr. Valcow. And we'll sign the order as soon as they're complete. And we'll take some questions. Please, go ahead.
Mr. President, thank you for always bravely pushing for common sense change, as you call it. So President Trump, Secretary Kennedy have been pushing for change. They're passionate in their desire to help the American people, and they have relentlessly pursued this agenda throughout this administration. This also includes a deep passion for research, gold standard research, as Secretary Kennedy also says.
Maybe a pilot
But there's another
program.
side to the president
Research.
that often isn't reflected in media reports, and that's the deep passion he has for the people in his life. And he has called me frequently about the people who are calling him, as he alluded to, who are saying that they've got problems and they got relief from some of the solutions we're talking about today. Howard Kessler, who's standing behind
This
me
is live.
here, was a mutual friend of ours, was an early caller of the president. Many others have ever reached out as well. And Howard's been a passionate advocate for avoiding narcotics, especially in seniors, and particularly seniors suffering from cancer. And that's a population that is a very important one. And it's a sympathetic population that's desirous for trying new ways besides some of the conventional approaches that have been tested by pharmaceutical companies but have untoward side effects. At the beginning of the year, one of the first things the president told me, he doesn't actually tell you, he demanded from me, that my agency, CMS,
Nobody demands from him. Nobody. You have to know him.
that's right,
Go ahead.
use the whole tools of his wherewithal to find a better way to help seniors. A passion for a population that has gotten left behind with these discussions. I promised that we would find an answer, even though it had not been done before. And today we are delivering on that promise. Today, our Innovation Center at CMS is announcing a new model and additional actions to give seniors access to cannabinoids. These are CBDs. And they're not addictive, which many are already using to manage pain. There's some clinical evidence that's showing that CBDs provide relief from common conditions that affect Americans, including cancer symptoms and chronic pain and a slew of other problems that affect disproportionately seniors and our veterans. And 6 in 10 people who use the CBDs report that they improve their pain. I think all of those people are calling the president, judged on the number of calls in support of what we're doing today. And sometimes these decisions are difficult, and there's a reason this hasn't happened before, and there's a reason, Mr. President, that every president before you has whiffed on this issue. It's tough. And I know there's going to be a lot of discussion about it. That's why we're so passionate about making it clear that this patchwork that we're working within now, the laws and regulations, they're leaving patients and doctors without adequate guidance on the safeguards of how to use these products, even though they're still being used. At Medicare, we cover 68 million Americans, including people under the age of 65. And they did not have a way of providing these treatments until today. With the president's insistence, that's all changes. The Innovation Center models are going to allow millions of Americans on Medicare to become eligible to receive CBD as early as April of next year. And
April of next year, receiving
It's their
CBD
doctor's
at no charge.
recommended. Thanks to the hard work of the entire CMS team, especially Abe Sutton and Gita Dio at the Innovation Center, the accountable care organizations in this country working in Medicare will be able to provide these products, again, at no cost to patients. Medicare Advantage insurers, and we've been calling them, are also agreeing to consider CBD to be used for the 34 million Americans that they cover. If you can hear my voice and you're over 65, you should pay attention to this executive order because it's going to affect your life. Again, this all becomes active after the first quarter of next year. These CBD products must first meet local and state quality and safety standards. They must come from legitimate sources, and they must abide by other regulations of those states. With these boxes checked, patients can be eligible for up to $500 of hemp-derived products each year.
There you go.
The first
$500
government-led testing
The hemp
of
farmers
policy and outcomes
each
for
year.
patients across
CBD.
different conditions, and it delivers on the need for more data collection and research into hemp usage. CMS is going to collect data, that's our job, on the patients that are being given these products by their physicians. In accordance with all the privacy and security regulations, we're going to analyze that data, and make it publicly available to everybody to be able to analyze with us. If it shows promise, we will expand access to these products to even more conditions amongst
The data's
Medicare and
coming.
Medicaid beneficiaries. I
That's
want to
good.
thank not just the secretary, but I'm Marty McCary. We want a lot of companies who are doing this research that approach the FDA for formal approval. That is the right way to move forward. And Jay Bhattacharya, who's hiding in the back, he rarely hides, but Jay runs NIH and he's agreed to support initiatives to study the data that we're collecting. Howard Kester, God bless you for being a pain in our sides. Mr. President, he's promised to stop calling you. But on this issue, we'll call you on other issues. And I thank you again from the bottom of my heart for taking difficult steps.
Thank you.
Trump has really earned his cannabis legalization news peace pie.
Members of the cabinet, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and for your leadership in rescheduling cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. This will accelerate scientific research and expand what can responsibly be studied. I'm a cancer psychiatrist and medical cannabis researcher at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Over the past decade, federal investment in research has helped transform cancer care. People are living longer than ever before. But cancer care is not only about treating the tumor, it's also about addressing the anxiety, the fear, the stress that can come with a diagnosis, symptoms that can interfere with treatment and make recovery much
I like
more
how he has
difficult.
like scientists
Many
you know, breaking
medications
it down
we
for
use
people.
for acute anxiety carry significant
Forget
risks,
Dr. Oz qualifies.
particularly in the older adults. That's why we're studying specific natural compounds found in cannabis, including the non-addictive cannabidiol, to understand whether they can
A lot
safely and
about
effectively
CBD.
help manage anxiety during cancer treatment. Rescheduling allows us to ask these questions rigorously about dosing, about safety, and who may benefit most. This research reflects the best of federal investment, helping people not only live longer, but live better. Thank you, Mr. President, for supporting careful, science-based research that puts patients first.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. All right, my vote of thanks, Mr. President. I never really thought this day would come. I met a patient about 20 years ago, a retired professor named Elizabeth, who came to my clinic. She was dying of pancreatic cancer. And she asked me then whether cannabis might help her. And I said no, because that's what I learned in medical school.
Oh,
She reached into her briefcase, took out a 3-inch tall stack of articles, put them down on my desk and said, "Really, doctor, you should read these. You might learn something." And I did read those articles, every single one, and found a bunch more. And I did learn something. I learned that there actually is some medical benefit to cannabis that I had not anticipated, never heard about in medical school. Second, I learned that there's a lot we don't know. And third, I learned it's really, really, really difficult to do high quality randomized control trials of a substance that's federally illegal. This rescheduling has the potential to change all of that and to rewrite the way that we do research in the United States in 3 ways. First of all, it'll democratize the research process so that all academic institutions can participate in research, not just elite academic cannabis labs. Number 2, it'll give patients and researchers access to highly refined, reliable sources of cannabis rather than relying on 1 or 2 sources around the country. And last but not least, it'll let us do the sorts of large-scale randomized controlled trials that we do on oncology and
Yes.
oncology, not dozens of patients, but hundreds of thousands of patients. That's how we learn. That's how we produce valuable knowledge that's useful in guiding treatment decisions. Mr. President, without you, this never would have been possible, and my patients and I and all of our families are grateful.
Thank you, Dr. very much.
Thank you. For
Yeah. Don't forget to, because
Mr.
last
President, I am the American Legion representing 1.5 million veterans. We are the biggest, largest veterans organization. We have 2.5 million members of
Bring
our
on the
American
vets.
Legion family. And I want to start
Shout out to all the vets.
for your leadership on this issue. This issue is extremely important to the American Legion, and I want to thank you on behalf of the veterans who are going to benefit from potentially the research regarding this issue. Also want to thank you for your VA Secretary Collins, and his work on difficult veterans issues with us this past year. The VA has worked with us on our Be the One mission, which is a mission to fight the epidemic of veteran suicide. Veterans are disproportionately affected by conditions such as PTSD, TBI, depression, and chronic pain.
Wow.
And with this reclassification, it will allow research to be conducted with regard to cannabis. There is anecdotal evidence that cannabis benefits these conditions, and now we'll have an opportunity to see if research does prove that it is effective. And if it is so, then it'll open up a whole new method of treatment for our veterans with regard to this particular issue. And so, again, I just want to thank you for your leadership and thank you on behalf of the American Legion for this executive.
Such great people.
Thank you very much. You're right.
What I hear. Anybody else, please?
I'm Nora Volkov. I'm Director National Institute on Drug Abuse. And for us,
Wow.
rescheduling opens the door to actually be able to accelerate the rate at which we can do research and discovery. And research is crucial in order for us to, for example, understand.
For years, I struggled with thinning hair, and my husband had dry, itchy skin. Then we found out the real problem was with harsh contaminants in our shop.
And
Habits.
certainly,
Like how she
because
says that.
adolescents and children
And say
may be
it
the
the whole
most
time.
vulnerable. But we cannot close our eyes to research and the opportunity that we are hearing from patients that for some of them, cannabis can solve their problem. And so what we need to do is do
Oh,
research, number one, to understand what are those conditions. Number two,
Not
in
too bad,
order
like
to be able to
15%.
optimally learn how to use it. And to understand number
Why the
two,
rumor,
who is
tell the
affected. And it is knowledge that will allow us to optimally
Shout out
benefit
to our new members.
take the benefits
Gordon?
that may be behind cannabis, as research shows, but on the other hand, also enable us better to do prevention interventions to protect those that are most vulnerable. So thanks very much.
This is a great thing.
Thank you.
This is really,
Thank you, Doctor. Robert, you have something to say?
very good.
I'll just echo, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your leadership and vision and finally getting to closure on this issue. This is a question, a scientific question, that has divided our country for many, many years. And there are valid claims on both sides. On one side, the patients and physicians attest that cannabinoids and THC can have miraculous effects on chronic pain, on epilepsy, on PTSD, on chemotherapy-induced nausea. My friend Howard Kessler, without whom we wouldn't be here today, drove this change in the schedule. But he did it because of his
Howard
own
Kessler.
experience in mitigating the impacts of chemotherapy. There's nothing to gain from this. He just saw something that worked for him, that worked for thousands of other Americans. He wants to make it available to them. On the other side, there are valid claims about the negative impacts about addiction, about psychosis,
Funny.
about adverse public health impacts, and impacts particularly on young people. So we haven't the evidence on all of these is anecdotal and it's hypothetical because we have not been able to do scientific studies. There is no there is no standardized dosing. And if you don't have standardized dosing, any study that you do is comparing apples to pears. And we don't know the difference between botanicals and synthetics, and all of these questions we're now going to be able to answer. Five
Technically, the FDA file
administrations
is supposed to
have
not.
promised to act on this issue. The Biden administration promised to do this, and the proposal began during the Biden administration. They got mired down in the chaos and inertia and disorganization and I want to thank President Trump, who made the promise during the 2024 election that he was going to come in and solve this issue, that he was going to take decisive action, and he has kept that promise today. So thank you, President Trump, for your vision. And because of that, we will have answers very soon. This will finally allow us to study this issue and to answer these questions for the American people.
Howard Kessler, a friend of mine, one of the most successful people in the country, came to see me on more than one occasion, actually. And he had some real difficulty about 3.5, 4 years ago. And he went through hell. And during his going through hell, he probably sampled everything you can sample when you go through that hell. And he came to me, he said, there's been nothing like this. We're gonna have to take a good, strong look at it, and that's what he asked me to do. And others have likewise said that, many others. Again, it's, I've never been inundated by so many people as I have about this particular reclassification. And I don't know that you have anything to say, Howard, if you'd like, you could say whatever you
I
want.
just want to help the people 65 and over and make a difference in their lives. And we have machines and talent that could do it, not in 8-year clinical trials, but in a year. We're going to
Wow.
prove that may change the world in healthcare.
We want to give Howard Kessler
I'm far
the
younger than 65, so this does not pertain to me. Thank you. I don't want it, okay? I'm not gonna be taking it. A
Oh,
lot of people do want it. A lot of people need it, and
Trump says he's not going to take it with you.
it's really opening a lot of eyes. Okay, we'll sign it. We'll take some questions from the press. You can ask the doctor some questions. And it's an honor to do this. That's a good one. We like that.
Where's the silver part? The signs it and silver part.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Any questions?
Mr. President,
Yes.
a health-related question on your healthcare plan. You've said you want to make direct payments to Americans, but these Obamacare subsidies are expiring now
Really
in a
talking about
matter
something
of just a
besides
few days. More than
Canada.
20 million Americans are now bracing for their premiums to skyrocket. Are you going to
Because
let
of
this
Obama.
happen, or will you
Because-
intervene?
Yeah, they will skyrocket because it was never any good.
All
I'd
right.
like to see the money that
I'm
is
not sure
going
if
to
you're
the
going to be
insurance
doing
companies.
questions
by
about
hundreds
Kansas
of
on this, or
billions
if they're
of
just going to
dollars.
start peppering
You know,
him
their
with
stocks
other
are up
questions.
1,400%,
Something that the president-
1,800%, and
That person?
1,644%. Their stocks
You
are
got
up
any
through the
questions?
roof over
Get
a
'em in.
fairly short period of time.
You know, hit
Because we're
refresh on
getting
the
vast
executive orders.
amounts of money. I want that money to go to the people directly and let the people buy their own healthcare. And they'll get much better healthcare than they get with the Unaffordable Care Act, as it's known by